What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. Thanks for joining again. A Wharton School professor, and this is the famous business school in the University of Pennsylvania. This professor asked her students, just an informal polling it looked like, asked her students what they thought the average American worker makes per year. Stop. Full stop. That's it. Just so imagine I throw it out to you. I throw out this question to you. How much do you think the average Joe Smo in this country makes per year? Well, this is a business school. You got to have money to get there. Probably came up with a good upbringing, great public schools, or most likely private schools. So these are students who are very book smart, most likely. Very smart. Elon Musk went to Wharton. Trump went to Wharton. Many others, of course. Asked, how much do you think the average Joe Smo, how much money do you think they make per year? Okay. 25% of them thought it was over six figures. One of them, the head of the class, I kid, one of them thought it was 800,000 K. They thought that was the average. These are people who understand what the terms median and average mean. These are not dumb people. But we see that many of them, at least in this informal survey, a quarter of them, and probably a little bit more, are ignorant. They thought the average person made over $100,000 a year. The average Joe Smo in America. The professor was obviously mind blown, said, I really don't know what to make of this. I'm really not sure what to make of this. And she was like, oh my gosh, it went viral. And she put the real number is 45K on average. So the people who make millions upon millions, the 1% and higher, are raising that average. That's not median. The average is 45K. So what's the takeaway from this? Dan Reifel summarized my thoughts perfectly. He said, this is a funny anecdote from our future overlords. Sounds like verbiage I would use exactly from my head. But a more interesting one from her paper, and she posted a couple links, and this is the paper he's referring to. When you ask people in general here, not Wharton, when you ask people what the appropriate ratio of CEO to worker pay should be, they say 7-1. So you see, they're saying 7 times. So whatever they feel, if the average worker makes $50,000 a year, they think the CEO should make $350,000. Ask them what they think it is, and they think it's 30-1. So they think if the average worker makes 50K, that the CEO is making 1.5 million. The actual ratio in the US is 354-1. It's mind-boggling. It's astronomical. So for every dollar that the average worker makes, the CEO is making 354 times that. Not 30 times is what people thought. So the perception isn't just Wharton. It's in a different way. You can see that manifest in all of society. So I don't mean to attack people who are fortunate enough, well off enough to go to Wharton or any university or institution just for being there. No. But what we are seeing is they live a different world, they live a different life, and they will be the future overlords. These are the future C-suite executives. These are the future Mr. and Mrs. Moneybags of the country. The CEOs, the people who run this thing, even beyond politics. They don't know what the common person makes. These are people who are still involved in voting. These are people who have opinions on many things like inflation. They have no idea how that affects common people. My takeaway on this is for common people like you, myself, listening, most likely, just common average Joe, is we work hard. We work our butt off. We're not victims. Even though we know the future leaders, the leaders that we have now, all these out of touch people who run this country, because we, the people, are too busy demonizing each other to run the country as we should be. But I am proud of the populist right. They're the ones that are making the moves right now. But we're not victims. We work hard. I really like this story. Kevin O'Leary reacted to a 29-year-old United States Postal Service worker who made over 90K last year. How did he do it? There's no question his name is Jordan Myers. There's no question that Jordan Myers is a hard worker. As a mail carrier for the United States Postal Service, the 29-year-old typically works 12 to 13 hours a day, 6 days per week. During the business week, Myers works out about 5 hours of overtime each day and takes on even more on the weekends. He's delivering mail for over 12 hours a day. Kevin O'Leary, I really like Kevin O'Leary. Transparent, he's a money guy, he's a capitalist, and he just tells you how it is. And Kevin O'Leary, like this guy knows how to work hard. Most days, Myers walks around 14 miles. He delivers mail up to 500 houses each day. And because he has a walking route, he's outside all day. It doesn't matter rain, sleet, sunshine, or snow. In 2020, life changed for pretty much everybody on the planet. Amid the pandemic, Myers' schedule was especially hectic. It was endless, walking around 20 miles a day, he told CNBC. Since there was much more mail and few carriers at the time, it was even scary, Myers said, remembering packages of medicine piling up and not enough employees to handle it all. The pandemic, I continue on quoting, the pandemic caused a real breakdown in systems, particularly the mail system. Your check wouldn't get to you, your medicine didn't get to you, but he seems to be conscious of that and cares a lot about it. That's a really great person that actually understands the impact on someone's life. So it's not just working hard, it's working smart and working to make your money work for you. Right now, we have seen a crash in the market. We've seen Netflix, and I've never been high on Netflix as a business model. Well, when Netflix first launched, I was high on it because they turned the blockbuster model into digital. But in the end, Netflix keeps having to chase winning programming that they have no idea which ones are going to be successful with huge budgets, and I'm not a fan of that business model. And they're tanking right now. I hope it turns around. But other stocks, like I'm a big Tesla person, Tesla's down. Here's my point. You work hard, you work smart. Now's the time. If you do your research, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to take responsibility for anybody else's choices. But I will tell you, for me, the companies that I am confident in, I am now looking at investing in heavily. When they're down, that's the buying opportunity for companies that you've studied and know about, and you watch them go up. When they go up, I let them ride out long term. I'm a long-term investor. But so Myers does all this work, all this groundwork, all this leg work, good exercise, but it's hard work. He's done a great job with his budget as well. In October, Myers budgeted around $5,778, putting $500 into his savings, $400 into his 401k, his retirement, and $2,000 into a taxable brokerage account. As of November, he had around $3,000 in savings and $34,000 in investments. So not just working hard, saving that money, putting it into not just a savings account, but in other accounts where you can let it sit and accrue compound interest, hopefully long term. Now, inflation hurts all of that, but we can only do what we can do. That's much respect, much props. Kevin O'Leary said allocating a third of your monthly budget into savings, a third into living expenses, and a third into housing, if possible. And that's kind of where this guy is. So he's giving him credit. O'Leary said he's saving almost half of that money. So he's kind of living off half of so 45K, and the overtime, all that other stuff, he's stashing it away for him and his family. O'Leary admires Myers' family dynamic as well. This couple got their stuff together. He says this is a really good example of what it takes to be successful in life, marriage, and as an investor. He rated Myers a 9.5 out of 10. He's got a goal to be a millionaire. He's going to do it through savings, and he's going to get there. This guy is a fantastic role model. Props to Kevin O'Leary, props to Myers way more, of course, but I like Kevin O'Leary for highlighting that as a really good, positive story. Here's my takeaway. Here's my end. Our future overlords are out of touch, but I think about hard work, and I look at my own father and the example that Jordan Myers is setting for his family, the example that I can set for my family. People are going to be out of touch. The people that rule us, I don't know when that's ever going to change, if it ever will. I remain optimistic, but I will not be a victim. I will work hard and smart, and what Jordan Myers did here reminds me a lot of what my parents did growing up. My dad never missed a day of work. Took his job very seriously. In savings. Never looked at himself as a victim. That doesn't mean the world is perfect. The answer is hard and smart work. And that's the problem that I have, that I'm seeing right now. And maybe it's just me getting old in the younger generation. I see the younger generation looking at making excuses, pointing at the government. You've got to pay my student loans. You've got to give me this check. You've got to do this for me. No. Start with hard work and smart work. That's where you start. If you haven't started there, you're doing it wrong. And what's happening is people are looking at themselves as being oppressed. And that's turning them depressed. Blaming other people. And that makes you so easy to manipulate. Oh, it'd be easy to say, oh, Jordan, look at all that hard work you got to do. You're oppressed. And are you black too? Oh, are you this? Are you that identity? You know what? Come on down to this path where we blame everything on racism instead of focusing on how we can live. Like, we don't need Wharton School money to be happy. How we can live, work hard, work smart, and have control of our lives. Shout out to Jordan Myers, Kevin O'Leary. Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot. Take care.